You're listening to Pittsburgh Profiles. I'm Elaine. Amy Lunny is our audio engineer. Continuing with our Black History Month theme this month, songbird Phyllis Hyman was born in Philadelphia in 1949. She was raised in Pittsburgh, and many of her relatives are still living here. Joining us in the studio for a look back on the way too short career of Phyllis Hyman is Shay Wafer, Vice President of Programs of the August Wilson Center for African American Culture, where a tribute will be held next weekend to honor the gifted late singer Phyllis Hyman. Shay, welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Phyllis Hyman's debut album was released in 1977. What was it about Phyllis Hyman's voice that made her such a standout?
I think Phyllis was a singer, and she had one of those unique voices where when you heard her, you knew it was Phyllis. I put her in the same category as Anita Baker, Whitney Houston, Aretha Franklin, Gladys Knight. You know, just a consummate singer, natural God-given talent. And according to her sister Jeannie, and having a conversation with her, she said Phyllis had the same voice when she was a child. And it was amazing. You know, she said, you know, just imagine being in a house with her, and she'd open her mouth and sing, and this amazing sound would come out. And I read somewhere or heard an interview with her, and she said it took her years to recognize that it was a God-given talent. She didn't know why people were so excited about her voice or what all of the, you know, interest was. And one day she realized, oh, everybody can't do this. You know, this is a talent, this is a gift.
Mm-hmm. How did she get her start?
From the stories I've heard and read, because there is a biography out in her called Strength of a Woman, she started here in Pittsburgh, and it was through a relationship with Mr. Tambori. I can't remember his first name, but he's the father of Larry Tambori, who is the executive of the symphony. He gave her a scholarship, a music scholarship, at a time when there were none available, and he taught her the standards. He recognized the depth and the richness of her voice and how compatible it would be for jazz standards, and he introduced her to standards. And from Pittsburgh, she went to Florida, and she started her own band, and she lived down there. It was called PH Factor, and she was the leader. She was a female leader of her own group, which was you know, a rarity at the time. You know, usually women were just singing; they didn't lead the band. From backup, yeah. Then from Florida, she moved to New York, and she was singing in a club, and word got out. And all of these, you know, amazing musicians came to hear her, including Norman Connors, who then signed her, and she did his album, and I think that's when the world began to know Phyllis Hyman.
How would you describe her? I mean, we're always trying to put people into categories. That's not always easy, but what was she? Rhythm and blues, soul, jazz? What category?
I don't think we can categorize her, because she sang, you know, she recorded rhythm and blues, she recorded jazz, she did a Broadway play, Sophisticated Ladies, so she did Broadway music. She won a Tony Award for her performance. She was nominated for a Tony Award for her performance in Sophisticated Ladies. She was on Broadway for 2 years. So you just call her a vocalist, a singer. I don't know if we could categorize her music.
Did she want to be categorized?
I don't think so, and I don't know if I can answer that question,
right.
But just based on what I've read and interviews I've heard, no, she wanted to sing, and I don't think she wanted to be lumped into one particular category. Yeah.
So what is planned for the Phyllis Hyman tribute at the August Wilson Cultural?
We're so excited about it. Phyllis happens to be one of my, I'm a big fan of Phyllis. I saw her perform in the 70s and the 80s, and from DC to New York to Los Angeles. I mean, I was a groupie. I was a Phyllis Hyman groupie. And the tribute is going to feature 16 of her songs. We auditioned over 60 women from Pittsburgh, 2 from Ohio, and we've cast 4 lead singers and 3 background singers. And members of the Pittsburgh Jazz Orchestra, led by Alton Merrill, will be the musicians for the performances. So you'll hear songs from the 70s all the way through the last song that was released after her death, I Refuse to Be Lonely.